The Murray River runs through other states into South Australia and out to the sea at the Murray mouth. It runs through a large regional town called Murray Bridge, and I live in Adelaide, which is just over an hour away from Murray Bridge, so decided to go down with our drones and record a bit of footage of a level of flooding that hasn't occurred since decades and decades. So what we're looking at here is a playground, children's playground, and you can see a skate ramp at the centre of the video. And in a moment I'm going to transition to Google Earth view to give you an idea of the setup. So here's a higher level view, something called the Murray Bridge Bunyip in the middle, which I'll explain as we go along. And here's zooming in a bit so you can see the playground, but in particular the skate ramp, and it really gives you an idea of how much ground has been covered by this slow moving disaster as the floodwaters rise, as all the water drains into the Murray and it gradually goes up. So back to flying. A few days ago we were driving around these roads and we had a look at it. It's really just come up in the last few days, so hopefully we're approaching the peak and waters will begin to subside. So coming up again on the playground, in fact I've repeated some of the footage from the intro just so you get an idea of it, and you can see the various pavilions on the riverbank that are now flooded. And as we come up on the right, you can probably, no, not just yet. Anyway, there we are back at the playground, and hidden under those bushes on the right there's a little pebble dash thing, and that's got a mechanical monster called the Bunyip, which is a mythical beast living in the river, and you press a button and the mechanical thing rises out the water. So that's flooded, or around it's flooded. And again, just to show you an extent of how it's gradually creeping into the across what's normally dry land. And ironically, you can see how dry it gets in summer. All the grass just dies off in anticipation of no water, and some of it is now underwater. So lots of gum trees. I wasn't quite sure how to fly this. I want to focus on the view of what was below me rather than doing anything in the way of snappy flying this time. It's documenting something that's rare. In fact, it's documenting a disaster that's not quite as graphic or requires lots of emergency workers, which meant if there's lots of emergency workers or roped off areas, we wouldn't be flying here. But given we're not disturbing anything, but we're just recording for posterity what's going on, I thought it was worth coming down. Again, keeping low just to try and give an idea, different perspectives of what's going on here. And looking over the back now, again that area there, that big pond is normally dry land, as you'll see later, and there's some shacks there that have been flooded. I've got a separate video of those flooded shacks that I'll be putting up sometime after this one. Oh, so this all happened on the 6th of January 2023. I might make that clear with an intro that I put on afterwards. So just sweeping back again, looking at the sunken road, and in the distance you can see a rail bridge and also a car bridge. The car bridge has got covers on it in places, they've been repairing it for a while. So I'm trying to follow the road back. That's a light pole there that came as a little bit of a shock. So it's tricky making sure I don't hit anything that's unfamiliar, but I'm basically keeping high enough to avoid that. There we are down there, keeping an eye on the whole thing. And you can just see some of the flooded shacks there. As I say, I'll do another flight. I did another flight on the same day and you get a better idea of it. All these roads are now closed off to vehicles, so it's foot access only, which is good. It means there's not too many people around. the last low pass. And they're parking spaces because we drive on the left hand side here, and here's a black swan event coming up, in fact 2 of them, not perturbed by the drone going by. And then I can't help myself, another sweep low over the water. And then back to base. I probably could have flown a bit further, but I ran into a little bit of radio interference as I got out there, so that worried me, and I decided to fly conservatively.